And you know what it is. What up, Facebook world? What up, Twitch? What up, YouTube? What up to all my people? My dog's about to bark because he's a little pain in the ass right now. He sees food and he's just very stubborn. So, we'll catch you on the other side.
And we're back.
Welcome. It's a Monday. We're back 2 nights in a row. That's kind of special. We haven't done that in a while. Mm-hmm. Hopefully we get the notification that people's actually watching. But if not, hey, we'll have a party by ourselves and get the party started. I'm Black Earth, the owner of 2117, and one of the members of Clockwatch.
The Beyonce. The Michael Jordan. The MVP. America's Most Wanted.
Let's call me Taylor Swift for Clockwatch. That's what we're gonna do. So anyway, what you been up to? How's your day going?
Good. I get to be the family woman doing the family thing tonight. Taking over some clips. Did a beach thing with the fam. Spent the whole day, did a little food shopping. Did the regular stuff. It was my day off, so I got to take advantage.
Well, the beach would be nice. I haven't been to the beach in a few months. I gotta take the kids to the beach so they can get a chance to go over in the sand and shit.
Definitely.
We see in Tampa, when I lived in Tampa, I used to be there like every other weekend. And then you get to the point where you get tired of going to the beach. And then you stop going for like a year. And you're like,
that could never be me. I love being at the beach. I try to go at least 3 to 4 times a week.
3 to 4 times a week?
Hell yeah. Well, I live down the street from the beach. I literally live like 4 blocks over.
Oh, yeah. I'm not gonna give away your location. I know you are. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that must be nice.
You tracking my IP address?
I've been in your house. I know where you. So I wanted to go to the beach while I was up here in Connecticut. So that's where I'm located right now, is in Connecticut. What's that beach in? Is it Stanford?
Cove Beach.
Cove Beach. I've heard things about it.
My dad used to live around the corner. So see, the thing about Connecticut beaches that I don't like is that they're all man-made. So all of their sand is like shells. It's like hard. You have to wear your sandals or your water shoes. It's not like New York beaches. There's no soft sand. There's no like white sand.
No track needles or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Listen, I don't want to Cocha Beach. I ain't going to no Forest. Get out of here.
No Jones Beach, you know.
By the way, we're talking about the Bronx, guys.
But I mean, yeah, that beach is I don't go there either. Should be all types of things be floating in there. So shit. I'm gonna get to start by getting my announcements on the back. So if you see, you can join us on Clockwatch on Twitter. We have a YouTube page and we have Twitch page and we have an IG page. Check it out at the bottom. Please join, subscribe, like all that, and the YouTube especially, so we can build the followers again. Yeah, so we took a hiatus for a while, and we're still missing a key part members to our crew. Like shout out to Big Kev. I missed his name yesterday, but Big Kev is out there. I don't know what the hell he is right now, but big shout out to him. Shout out to Tweet, Montana, all y'all that made Clockwatch what it is. Appreciate y'all. And Clockwatch,
always make sure to keep Montana in your prayers. She's doing great right now. We always want her to be great. We need her to forever stay great. So always keep Montana in your thoughts.
And I second that. I think that's a lovely sentiment, and we should do a prayer for Montana thing. Mm-hmm. Great thing. So we're gonna dive into it. We're just freestyling basically again today. We just like talking to each other on camera and having you join the conversation and your comments. Please chime in. Please at the beginning of as you'll see when you log in and watch the feed. On the top, it gives you a little link to click on to add your information, so your comments can be available, so we can see who the hell you are. Please do so. My question is, and I have this question for MJ. After further review of Lil Nas X video, what the fuck? Like we talked about this, touched on this yesterday, and I didn't watch the video because I didn't know
just going off of what I had to say.
off of what she had to say. So I saw a little something pop up earlier today, and I'm like, yo, let me check this and see what the hype's about. I got 15 seconds into that video and could not watch it any longer because
why you enjoyed the blurred pieces?
Let me tell you, I'm pretty sure that BT after I was gonna have the unedited version. But listen, it's not. Listen, I don't give a fuck what your sexual orientation is. I don't care. It's not my concern. It doesn't. Listen, what you eat don't make me shit, and what I eat don't make you shit. So that doesn't bother me at all. But it's the fact that the over sexualized, like the shit, it went from he's going to jail to then I heard. See, when you're listening to some shit, you don't catch everything at first. So when I first listened, I'm like, so say first, like I listened to multiple times, but I didn't think I heard what I heard. When I was like, yeah, and then I see a dude like throwing it back to him in the cell. I should have known then that this was going to get a little risque, and I'm going to get a little bit out of what I was willing to watch on this video. But it cut to the next scene when they had a whole choreographed
nudie scene
of him and like 28 other dudes, inmates, that's giving it up on like in the dance floor, stepping like remember the time with no clothes on. I was not ready.
So it wasn't the bright pink that turned you off. It was the men, the choreographed men.
I was in the era of Cameron when he was pushed out that pink Navigator. Or that's what it was. No, so pink wasn't the problem. It was the what the fuck moment that I couldn't make it through. I mean, why didn't you warn me of this before I ventured through this?
You don't know how he is? Did you not see his last video? He was fucking bumping and on Satan. What do you mean?
I didn't watch that. I didn't watch any of that shit. No, that just happened because I thought it was hype. I thought it was just a picture of the hype. Did not know there was gonna be a full. I don't even know how long because I couldn't make it. I didn't make it through that. I just cut that off at that time. Like what? And it was my G. Like, he told me I told you I'm gonna give it to him. What the? Nah, G.
I wonder if Jack Harlow had heard his verses before he laid his verse.
I think he would have had to. Oh no, mate, no, what? Because sometimes you just get the beat,
right?
And you lay down the beat. You lay it down to the beat,
right?
But you sure know the song before you put the video, though. You heard the song before you put the video.
Yeah, he would have heard the mastered version. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was, I mean, big up to him. I mean, he was in the video.
And he's also opening himself up to a new crowd.
Yeah, he's opening himself up, all right.
Oh, stop it.
like, wow.
I mean, I told you. But there is a positive message behind the video. He raised a lot of money for bails and jails and all that other stuff, because I mean there's a political message behind it all, behind all the graphic scenes that come along with it.
So do you really get that message when you're watching that, or is it just shock value?
It's a shock value, absolutely. It's like what we were talking about last night when I specifically brought him up that at this point it's not about positive attention. It's about whatever attention you can get. And clearly for him, the negative attention is better than the positive attention. It makes him more money. It's the shock factor. It's the trending on Twitter. It's being the main topic when you open Google and you Google him. You know, I mean, for him, he don't give a fuck. He's still gonna make money off of us.
I get that. I'm just listen. You ain't gonna catch Black thong up there jiggling and shaking to make a point for safe sex. It ain't gonna be me. Like
he's not marketing to you.
Like damn right he ain't marketing to me.
We're not his key audience.
I don't get it. I mean, what do y'all think? Has anybody seen this Lil Nas X video? I want to hear some
It's not for
feedback.
us to get. I don't think it's for us to get. I think it's just for him to make money.
And I want to know what somebody else think about this. So if you guys have a comment or if you guys seen the video, if not, you can Google it because I didn't share it on the page because I was
It's a little much for.
I was flabbergasted, and I don't want to get.
It could be a little much for somebody that's totally anti what he stands for.
Well, I also didn't want to take a chance of people making negative comments on it like that. So
right, and as much as people can say that they're super open and whatever, there are very closed-minded people again, and so I mean, we're not all his target audience. Is really what it comes down to.
That is facts. That's not me. But I mean, if like you're saying, he raised all the money for a good cause and like prison reform and I don't know, yada yada yada. I have no clue. I don't know the history of it. I don't know the background to it.
Mm-hmm.
I was just the shock value got me to turn that shit off instantly. It's not. I don't like his music anyway, but it's not even about that. I'm not a fan. I wasn't a fan of the open horse whatever. What's the fucking song?
Which one? Call me by your name. That one?
No. Something about riding a horse on
Old Town Road.
Yeah.
That shit was catchy as fuck. That shit was catchy as fuck. And that was before we all knew he was gay. And then he put Billy Ray Cyrus on that shit. That shit was iconic. You cannot front. That shit was iconic. Everybody was listening to that song.
How does Billy Ray Cyrus only have one song ever? Don't break my heart.
No, but Billy Ray Cyrus played to another audience when he came out with Hannah Montana.
He didn't come out with Hannah Montana.
Of course he came up with it. He sold the idea to Disney.
Yeah, but he didn't come out. Disney came out with it. That's what gave it his legs.
Well, yeah, of course. But I mean, I think he was like an executive producer on the show. He started.
Of course he was. It's his daughter.
Yeah,
of course he was.
He started the show. So when I say Billy Ray Cyrus, people aren't thinking about Achy Breaky Heart. They're thinking about
what else are you thinking?
They're thinking about Hannah Montana.
I tell you, he made Miley Cyrus is it because his sperm came into. That's what he did. That was his biggest accomplishment in life. Second was Achy Breaky Heart. That's all he's ever known.
And third was the freaking cowboy song.
and just because that goes down as a classic, he sold like that shit. That song went like diamond or some shit. That is where the money came from.
I mean, even because when I was little, I mean, I'm also like 10 years younger, around 6 to 10 years younger than almost everybody on Clock Watch. So for me, I was introduced to Achy Breaky Heart through the Chipmunks because the Chipmunks had a cover of that song. Because the Chipmunks came out with a country album and that song was out there.
I didn't even listen. I didn't even know it came out with a country album. I had a Christmas album, though. I'm not from.
I had that Christmas album too. I still play to this day.
On the low, that was my shit. Put some beats to that remake, put that shit back out. But yeah, so that I was there through that whole Achy Break phase, and that shit was probably the worst cut. Nobody even knew the damn words. It was just like you just saying the same shit like 100 million times, and I just don't think that's
what most songs are now. People saying the same shit 100 million times.
Yeah, I get it, but it's just like that was like I don't know. Big up to Billy Ray Cyrus and his achievements and whatever the fuck you want to call them. But yeah, I mean, the only thing that really did because the country, because the song was Old Country Road about a horse, and combined it with him doing the guitar on the album, put him over to another a stratosphere. Because there's no group of people that support their music more than people that listen to country music. There's the higher ranking music of anything. So once you write a country album, you're going to be rich. If it sells, you're going to be rich. They will buy your shit. Unlike rap.
You don't even realize too that there's a lot of country artists that write your favorite pop songs music.
Yeah.
They're just not credited for it other than in the liner notes, you know what I mean? Like, because you're not going to have Christina Aguilera saying, oh, by the way, Billy Ray Cyrus wrote my song, you know? But he did. I mean, I'm not saying that he did, but like I said, there's country artists that have written songs for pop stars and we just don't know about it.
Yeah, that's very true. There's also people that write pop people who write shit for country, and
Right.
it just comes out. There's a back and forth. It's the
Mhm.
thing about it is that the fan base of country is so thick and so universal.
Mhm.
It's ridiculous. Like that's why Darius Rucker, after Hootie
Hootie
and
and
the
the
Blowmeat Fish,
Goldfish.
um, separated, went back to country. He knew what it was. He wrote an album there. He had
Well, I think that it's nice too to be able to see the African American culture be able to branch out in country, because country is predominantly a white man's sport, you
but it
know?
wasn't. But it wasn't though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It was always in our wheelhouse of African American, but it was just
Of course. Dating
but,
back to slavery, I get it, like the banjos and all that. I mean, I don't know much, so I'm not gonna make myself look stupid, but
I mean some jingles. Anyway, but definitely it's just that I know as a writer when I used to do music and stuff like that, that I've always wanted to do a country album because I know all you have to have is one country album
that's gonna
and
sell.
you're set for life.
Not only that, but as people that love pop music can relate to a country song. Everybody's been heartbroken before. Everybody's been sad. Everybody's been upset. Because realistically, most country songs are about getting your heart broken. So
And very depressing and
yeah.
killing your dog, your wife, and
Oh, all right. Dan and Shay are not singing about those things, okay?
Oh my god!
Look at Dan and Shay coming out with Justin Bieber. That song was that made millions.
I like Dan and Shay. I think
I love Dan and Shay.
yeah, I think they're very. They're not originally country though. They're
they're
more
pop country. They're pop.
Yeah, they are. They're like the Taylor Swift of country.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, but I do like them. I like what they.
Yeah, and I like the message behind their songs because they're all romantic for the most part. They're all about because they write mostly about their wives. So they write about like their actual lives and falling in love with their wives and being married to their wives and having babies with their wives. I mean, again, all things that most people can relate to.
I wonder if I come out with a country album and I write about having babies with multiple women at the same time and love for them. I think that would be dope because there's people that could relate to that too.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I mean, like we don't want to.
I ain't singing along to your songs.
I mean, why not? Why not?
I ain't got multiple baby mamas.
You know what I'm saying though? It's still part of life. Things happen. You know?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, it's a reality now, especially now. As we were saying yesterday, where we live in a culture that people just get married for fun, for the most part. I mean, not everybody, obviously, but
they just get married for the clout.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, remember we talked about that yesterday. That tradition continued on my Facebook line today. I'm going up to engagement, marriage. I'm like, what the fuck? So that brings me to my next question. Should we dub all the relationships in the past year to love COVID number 19? Like, is this COVID love? Is that what this is? Is the fear of being alone after we've been alone for so long in these 2 months?
So I mean, I can respond to that on both perspectives because
I know that's why I brought it up.
Of course. So I can speak on both aspects of that. So as someone who had already been separated from the person that I was with for a few years prior to COVID, I had been alone before COVID. And then I obviously found my current relationship during COVID. Uh-huh. But I was alone during most of COVID. I, as I've said before, and I'll say it again, and I've said it to my current relationship, for me, COVID was the greatest thing that could have ever happened to me. It truly taught me who I am as a person on a spiritual level, on an empowered level, as a woman, as a mother. It taught me that I had no choice but to be alone. Even though I had already been alone, now I'm really alone. I'm in my home. I'm in these 4 walls by myself. I have to fix everything by myself. I have to do everything by myself. I have to focus on myself. I have to rely on myself. And all that empty space and all that empty time of being trapped in your house definitely gives you perspective. Walking into the relationship that I am a very different person than the person that I was in my previous relationship. I've found a strength within myself that I maybe didn't know I had, or maybe that I just had sitting there that needed to be reactivated, you know, after having been in such a toxic relationship for so long with with my kid's father, being able to go into this new relationship was such a breath of fresh air. And at first, you know, obviously everybody was like, oh, it's a puppy love thing. It's a puppy love thing. But we're about to be 1 year in and Black knows what I'm talking about with that, because he was one of the ones that was like, I give it 3 months. I give it 3 months. You're bored. You're just looking for some fun, you know? And not for nothing, people feel that way about it. A lot of people maybe even still feel that way about it. But I can honestly say that having been given the opportunity to take in all of that aloneness helped me grow as a person, helped me understand what I love about myself, what I honor about myself, what I respect about myself. And it's taught me that I will take nothing less than that. And therefore, I brought that attitude into my new relationship. So now, if he's not giving me anything but what I want, that's my fault, because I'm allowing someone to give me less than what I deserve. I know what I deserve now, having been in such a toxic relationship. And like I said, we're about to hit a year in like a month and a half. I mean, and we're happy. We're happy. Maybe we're still in that puppy love phase, but I went from a relationship where everything was an argument and a fight. And maybe it's because we had years and years and years with each other, and there's children, and now there's more resistance because you have to make different decisions as parents than as a single couple. But I mean, I can honestly say that I'm happy. Am I going to jump into a marriage tomorrow? No, because I think that we're still getting to know each other. I think we're still developing ourselves. I think that while we may be happy and while it's positive and for the most part, it's the best thing that's kind of happened to me, other than obviously my kids. But like I said, I think that this relationship has brought out a better side of me. And I don't think that it's just because of COVID, because it was one of those things, and it's so cliche, because I had been single for 3 years before I started. Yeah, I had been single for 3 years before I started dating my boyfriend. Yeah, and I think that meeting him, like I said, just kind of showed me that there is so much better out there, and that and like I said, so going back to the cliche thing, is that I wasn't looking. I was going out to the bars because the bars were open again after having been locked down. He wasn't even from New York at this point. I mean, he's from New York, but he was living in Missouri for COVID, and he came back, and we just happened to meet each other, and it started off as being friends, and it slowly developed into something else. And here we are. And we never pushed it. We never put a label on it. We don't have like a date. Like it was literally just two adults who knew what it was. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
We're just two grown-ups who enjoy each other's company.
Yeah. Buy the book is better. Anyway.
You got to make your own rules as you go.
Yeah, I got that. I think that during this time, a lot of people find each other because of they don't want to be alone anymore, and going through the COVID. If you had to go through it alone, if you had to be in the house by yourself or someone that you didn't want to be with, it kind of made you push for something more that you wanted, and you thought you saw in someone else because you didn't want to be alone, and you actually kind of like your mind kind of rushed the process because we never know what's going to be the outcome of COVID, because COVID's not over, certainly.
Of course not.
And we don't know like what's the rest of like our life is going to be like. There's people that were in abusive relationships that stayed each other with and had to stay with each other. And then the first time they're gone.
Sorry.
Hold on my messages.
Sorry, I'm getting off this time.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just that I think people are just, not everyone, but I do think there's a fair amount of people that are rushing into relationships and marriages based off of the sense of the idea of they don't want to be alone because of what they experienced the last year, and they want to go ahead and fulfill some dreams and getting married and being with something. But I think marriage is not the same anymore, and it doesn't hold the same weight anymore because we don't have the same values in it. And as long as generations keep coming up, the value of marriage actually changes. being that you don't get married just because you love someone. It has to be a lot more than that because
Most
there's
people
times.
don't.
Yeah.
Most people don't.
Well, here's the reason why, because there's going to be times where love is not going to be enough. There's going to be able to
And I
communicate.
say that to my boyfriend all the time. That love, and I used to say it to my ex too. Like, we could love each other all we want, but love doesn't pay the bills. Love doesn't put a roof over your head. Love doesn't put food on the table. Love doesn't put gas in your car. You know, and unfortunately, we live in a reality where finances are a huge part of a relationship right now. You don't want to be, as much as you love somebody, you don't want to be married to somebody walking into a relationship with $80,000 in debt. Now that's my debt. Now I'm responsible for that. That's not fair. That's not a conscious thing to do. As a mom with 2 kids, as me putting myself into a relationship where I know that you've got an astounding amount of debt that could now be my debt, that's irresponsible, you know, and it's unfortunate, but you have to think about these things nowadays. Finances are everything. Finances, stress. Yeah. And it's a huge stress, like, because who wants to be sitting at the kitchen table wondering how you're going to pay the light bill? You know, like shit. Oh, but my man loves me, you know, like great. Let me call Con Ed and tell them, oh, I got so much love to give. You know?
Well, that's where the love turns into resentment and
and animosity. Absolutely.
So then that is where we're at. You have to be able to not only love a person or be able to deal with them when you don't love them, and when you're able to work out things as a corporation. So to make sure that no matter what, that this is paid, that's paid, and that the stresses of life. And you gotta know the ins and outs, that everything is not gonna be honeymoon roses. You know what I mean? You're gonna go through some more deals in life. You're gonna go for habits and
you're gonna go through ups and downs. You're gonna go through some shit that you don't even want to go through.
Exactly. But here's the thing, though. There's gonna be shit about that person that you do not like, that you're not going to be able to change. So if you're going to thinking you're going to change it, it's not going to happen. You have to find a happy medium and find out what you're willing to put up with, what is not detrimental to a relationship for you, what is not a deal breaker. And people don't go that far down the road.
Right.
And
that's what I mean, that for me, when I say COVID was good for me personally, because it taught me about me. It taught me about what I'm going to stand for, what I'm not going to stand for, what I'm going to take. And so I brought that energy into my current relationship. And I was like, hey, these are my boundaries. Don't cross them. You know, like this is, and like I said, I mean, I'm in a relationship now where we communicate. We don't fight. We're not bickering over bullshit. It's like, this is what upsets me. And you're either going to listen to me and we're going to address it and we're going to figure out a solution, or we're going to brush it under the rug. We're going to hold some resentment and we're going to be angry for 3 weeks and we're just never going to speak to each other. And we're going to let our relationship crumble.
I hear you. And I agree with the communication. You should have communication all the time, but there comes the part when shit happens and you're not, because I've been on both sides of this. I've been the person that I've been looking for that, and I've been the person that's been dead wrong. Currently, I guess I'm the guy that's dead wrong because I guess I wasn't as supportive as I should have been. But you know, life is fucked up. Life hits you with all types of curveballs, and
that's why I say, like, sometimes you're gonna go through things in life that you don't even expect. You know, like there's just things in life you can't control. I mean, you could be in this phenomenal. You're married. You both have these great jobs. And then tomorrow you could lose your job. And then what do? You know, and that puts a strain on the on the other person, because now you're the only person financially responsible for this relationship. And that's not necessarily what you initially signed up for. Yeah. And I get it, for better, for worse, you know, all that shit. But like, you don't expect the worst to come. You just want it to always be for the better.
But you should always plan for the worst,
of course,
because you always know something's going to happen. And that, like, I mean, shit, I'm not perfect at all. I'm damn sure not perfect. I mean, I try to be. I mean, I'm getting that close. I'm almost close. But as a person, but as maturity in a relationship, I know what I want out of a relationship. I know who I want to be with. It just doesn't always work out the way for you because shit get in the way. And I've always been a dude that by any means necessary. If it's come to survival mode, I have survival of the fittest, like Mobb Deep said. I'm going to survive by any means possible. It may not be you may look at it and see that it may not be the right decision at the time, but it was a necessary decision at the time. I'm a single father of 4 kids, 3 of them I have custody of. I got to make it work, regardless of what it is. I have to cross those bridges and those feelings that you have to deal with later, because I need to make sure that I'm prepared to take care of them at the moment in time. When shit's going on now, I can't wait and protect somebody else's feelings versus me doing what I need to fucking do. I mean, I get the job done, regardless of what it is. And there's always a situation when people get hurt, and you always sometimes have to pay for your decision making. And but it's not worth. I mean, at the end of the day, you know what you need to do to survive. And there's no. I'm sorry, but there's no happy medium with that. So yeah, so it gets tricky, and COVID love. There's a lot of people that find people that they want to be with, and they feel that that's the one. But then as this shit starts to open back up, they feel they lose feeling like that anymore. The people they're like, oh, I thought this is what I wanted, but I made a rush. What's up, bro? I know you over there.
I'm just feeding her.
That's what you're supposed to do.
But that's what I mean, and that's how I knew that this was real, because we've been through lockdown together, we've had COVID together, we've experienced ups, downs. I mean, we're back on the streets together. You see us together, and it's crazy because it's like so funny, because everybody always says and always has says that there's like something about our energy where people just assume that we've been together for far longer than we've been. That's one. And then 2 is that people always make that comment of, wow, you guys are always together. And it's like, we are, but we don't get sick of each other, like we're okay being together 24/7, but we also understand that it's healthy to be apart. So he'll do his thing, I'll do my thing. We're both not, I mean, we all know I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy enough to the point where I'm like tracking him. Like if he's like, babe, I'm at so-and-so with so-and-so, I believe you. I trust you. I know you're not going to do me dirty. I've seen bitches literally throw themselves at him in front of me and him be like, I'm good, like, and I've heard him tell people like, I know what I got at home. I would be stupid to risk that. Like, so 1,000,000% I trust him. I mean, we live together, like I've lived with him since, and again, rushing into the COVID love, we met and we were inseparable from that day. We literally, I want to say we moved in a week in, so, but we're still going strong.
So we will reserve judgment on your relationship.
Listen, I'm one of the good ones. You're coming to my wedding, right? You could DJ my wedding.
Yeah, all right. I'm for it. If we get to that point, and I hope that it comes soon. You might as well just rush to the altar now. Get over it. But I mean, but yeah, I mean, I'm glad you guys are happy. I mean, you guys seem very happy in public. I'm happy for you guys. I'm happy for your soulmate there. Not everybody gets that, but we find. I mean, like I was saying before, it was that sometimes it's I guess we rush into these things, but you obviously have, and you're happy rushing into it, and I'm happy for you. But it doesn't work out for everybody like that. And then then the regrets start to set in, and then you're in the same boat that you were in before, in the depression and all that stuff in it. But I just hope that works out for you. We're gonna move on to the next question I had, because this is more added to you. What are the rules of engagement when you're meeting somebody? So how did this go down? Like we want to know, like, what's the proper way to approach someone to not, like, because you guys, women have heard everything in the world. But what is the proper way? Because like, hey, what's your name? I mean, like, what do you respect, and what, like, being approached?
I mean, I know I'm naturally, as friendly and bubbly as I may seem, I'm naturally very standoffish. I don't enjoy approaching people. I don't enjoy when people approach me. So, and I don't like to be taught, like, I'm not one of those girls at the bar that's like throwing herself at every man. I don't like it when you touch me. Like, I'm just not a kissy person, huggy, feely kind of lady. Like, I'm just, I don't know. I have boundaries up. I have a wall up. And like I said, maybe it's the whole COVID thing where I learned who to be, you know? I mean, as far as my relationship right now, we met through somebody. I've never been one of those people that needed to look for love online. I mean, props to you if you do, but I just feel like, hey, if I'm having trouble meeting somebody in real life, that's something that maybe I need to focus on and work on for myself. Maybe I'm not as great as I thought I was, you know what I mean? But for my current relationship, we met through a previous friend that I used to had. My boyfriend's brother was sort of somewhat talking / dating a previous friend of mine. I ended up, who is no longer my friend, and I ended up actually getting really close with his brother. We were really good friends, and I would see my boyfriend from time to time. He would come hang out. And one night, his brother was just like, oh, I'm going home early. And my boyfriend was like, hey, do you mind if I hang out with you? He's obviously not a stranger to me. I've hung out with you. I've seen you. I've been around you. But that was the first time that we ever hung out by ourselves. And I'll be honest with you, I thought he was the most annoying human being I had ever come across in my entire life. Okay. And so I thought he was so freaking annoying. But I was like, you know what? I don't give a shit. This is not my man. Who cares? You know, like, he's a drunk idiot. He's just a drunk fool. But in hanging out with him more often, and then of course my bestie Betsy put like the word in. She kind of arranged this love affair. Hell yeah, because we were, and it's funny because we were all at brunch one day. Hold on, Ari. We were all at brunch one day, and I initiated this brunch, right? I was like, you guys, let's all get fucked up, blah, 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 blah. I go to brunch, whatever. And then I'm like, all right, guys, well, I'm going home. And everybody's like, the fuck you are? You initiated this. They forced me to stay out. And then we ended up at another spot. And I mean, the drunker you get, the bolder you get. So at one point, I got so tired of hearing how much he liked me and wasn't making a move that I went up to him and made a move. And then from then on, we've just been inseparable. But it was mutual, you know, it was, and I think that it grew in and of itself. Cause like I said, I thought he was annoying as hell. I was like, yo, you are so annoying. I kicked him out of my car because he was like, do you mind giving me a ride home? I was like, I got you. I was like, get the fuck out of my car, bro. You are annoying.
You know what he wanted. He got what he wanted.
Yeah. I mean, but as quickly as we became something, we also let it grow in its own way. Like I said, we never put a label on ourselves. We never put a time constraint on ourselves. We let it literally go day by day. And I think that one of the biggest things that came out of this is, as a mom and as a mom to daughters, you have to be very aware of who you bring around your children. And so as I started, what? Yeah. And so And so as a mother to daughters, bringing a man into their lives is big, you know? And so they knew him as my friend, first and foremost. But I sat down with my daughters before anything grew out of this. And I especially my oldest, because she's 10, she's conscious, she's very aware, you know? She's not a little baby like my 4-year-old. So I sat her down especially, and I had a conversation with her, and I was like, do you like him? Does he make you feel comfortable? Does he make you feel uncomfortable? Is there something about him that maybe rubs you the wrong way? Do you enjoy his presence? You know, these are all common questions, because had my daughter said to me at any time, Mom, I think he's a creep, there would not be an us, because I have no choice but to respect my daughter's feelings. I made her. She is a part of me. For me to put a man before my child, what kind of a parent does that make me? for me to put my feelings before my children's. What kind of a parent does that make me? What kind of a mother, a woman, you know? I can't have a man in my life that could be potentially molesting my daughters, making them feel uncomfortable. So I think that the sign off on this relationship was having my daughter tell me how much she likes him, how much she enjoys him. And even to this day, she looks at him like an older brother. She goes to him for advice. She likes to hang out with him. They play video games together. They watch movies together. They both share a love for horror films. They do a lot of things together. And I think that definitely when you see that someone loves your children the way that you love your children, that becomes a beautiful thing. It makes you fall more in love with that person. It makes that love grow. It makes that bond grow. It solidifies that trust.
Listen, ain't nobody gonna love your children the way that you love your children. That's not a thing. That's not happening. That's you visualizing wanting that to happen, and that's how things happen down the road because you believe that they can't. There's no one love your children more than you love the parents of. The second thing is I've been on the opposite side of that as well, where introduced wrong people to my children because I used to not allow. Like bring if I didn't know you or went to like school with you or something like that, I wouldn't have you around my kids.
Right. But, I'm like that to this day. And that's why I get so offended when you cross me, when you betray my trust, because I didn't just allow you into my life. I allowed you into my children's life. And that's sacred. That's something special.
So being a single
parent, friends, for relationships, for anybody.
Being a single parent and a man at that is a little bit different. So sometimes, in order to get that alone time, sometimes they meet your kids. And I don't like that. Me, they do because
thankfully I have a phenomenal support system.
Yeah,
I have grandmas, I have uncles. So if I need to drop them off, I can. They don't need to be around people that I don't need them to be around. So I am very fortunate, and I know that not everybody is fortunate.
Exactly. Yeah. So I didn't have the opportunity. So it was more of like if we're gonna spin because I wasn't at that time. I wasn't going out in the street like that. It was before I started DJing and stuff like that, and like and then you never think that these people are going to be like fucking horrible people, and then start like putting your children in situations that that no need to like they shouldn't need to be in, and
for me, and sorry to cut you off, it's not only that, but then when you stop being friends with them, when you stop being in a relationship with them, when you stop fucking them, whatever the case may be, all of a sudden, oh, well, you're a piece of shit parent anyway.
Yeah. Heard that too. But it's still like, fuck, man, like I should have never.
Right.
But there's also times where shit happens and you and that was one of my biggest mistakes that introducing a person that wasn't fit for my children to meet to them, and then my kids not really really receiving to them because I've dated in the past and I used to have one child that liked the person, the other one that didn't. It was like hard finding one that we both like. Right.
Well, I got fortunate enough that both of my children love him, and they don't like him, they love him. This is their best friend too. Like he's my best friend, but he's their best friend because he's just as much in their life as he is in mine.
Yeah. Well, you're fortunate for right now. We won't label the COVID-19 just yet, but we'll revisit this later at a different.
Well, I wanted to spawn off of this because I think that this is an interesting question. Is off the bat when you're talking to somebody, do you tell them that you're a parent or do you hide that information?
I used to not speak of it.
Okay.
And then as I got older, I'm like, I don't give a fuck what you think. Because here's the thing. When you're saying that you're a man and you have 4 kids, there's an instant stigma that goes with it anyway. So it all depends on but then I felt like, damn, I'm denying my fucking children, I have children, and I'm like, and then I started saying, fuck it. I have kids, and I put it out in the open because you know what? If this goes anywhere, off the bat that it's going to, that I have these kids.
Right.
But like I said, I used to be like, listen, it wouldn't come up if they didn't ask you if you had kids. I don't deny them. I would never bring it up. I would never, because I tell you, and then my situation.
But do you think that's fair to your partner?
It's gonna be fair to them, especially it all depends on my level of interest in them.
Okay.
So if I'm not looking for it to be going anywhere, then it's not. Why do they need to know?
See, I'm very. Hi, my name's Melissa, and I'm a mom. Nice to meet you. You know what I mean? Because I feel like by me not letting someone know that I have children, I'm taking away their choice. It's an option to be with a parent. It's not. I'm not forcing you to be with me. Not everybody wants to be with a single parent, whether it's a woman or a man.
You're right.
You know.
You're right.
So it's not a happy thing for everybody. Some people don't even want kids at all, much less to have to deal with somebody else's kids. So I think
earlier age. I'm talking about when I was younger.
Right.
Yeah.
But I had my oldest at 22. So from the very get-go, I've always been very upfront about I'm a single mom, or I'm a mom or whatever. I mean, obviously back then it wasn't necessary because I was with somebody, but as I've grown older, especially, it's never been something that I hid. It's the first thing you see when you go on my Instagram, on my Facebook, What's the point of me hiding it? You're going to find it out anyways. Because me and my boyfriend were having this conversation the other day. That, okay, you're getting to know somebody, great. Because like I said, he knew off the bat that I was a mom. Because it's his choice to want to be with me. I can't force him into that situation. I can't spring children on him 3 months into our relationship, and now he's like, oh fuck, what did I get myself into? Because I, like you, know people like that. I know people who have hidden their children, who are currently in relationships with people who don't even know that they have current wives, maybe separated, but current wives, current children, because it's just not a topic of conversation. But hey, we've been together for 6 months. How do you not bring your kid? I mean, first of all, again, you don't bring your kid around everybody, but how do you take that choice away from somebody? What are you just going to pop the kid up one day and be like, oh, by the way, this is my little baby. This is little Susie.
Here's more to what I'm telling you. I said, like, more of the situation, if I don't plan this going anywhere than a one-night stand or something else than that, then you're not going to know any detailed information because I've been stalked before. And I told like information, and the girl contacted my cousin, tried to get information from me there. And like it was unsafe. So, I mean, anyway, so I've been there before. What I mean, sometimes gentlemen, like men, there's a stigma, especially if you're a man and being a black man. Oh, how many baby mothers do you have? All right, so that stigma, that stereotype actually holds well to me because I do have 3 different baby mothers. But I'm saying it's not like that. And I have custody of my children, except for my son. So it's not like so they're looking like, hey, well, this, that, and the third. Oh, how much is your child support? And it's like it's a whole nother.
Not even that. How many baby mamas do I have to deal with? Who's gonna be calling me a bitch? Who's gonna be talking shit about me on social media? You know what I mean? But again, these are all things that you have to prepare your partner for. I got into this relationship. He knew I have children. Obviously, he knows that there's a daddy involved. So, like,
is there? You hatch? No.
So at some point, you got to deal with the negativity with that. You know what I mean? Like, you've got to deal with the backlash that comes with your baby daddy being bitter now that you've moved on and been happy. So I don't know. I mean, this is my first real relationship. Again, obviously out of my separation, but I've just never felt the need to hide my children. I'm never going to hide my children. Hopefully I'm not in a million other relationships after this that I'm going to ever have to be in that position.
This is the one.
But I just think that if, let's say you and I were dating and I was not a parent and you've got 4 kids and we're past that one night stand phase or whatever, and you're not upfront with me about your children, and we're happy, and we're 4 months in, we could be happy as shit.
Oh, it wouldn't be that.
The trust is gone.
It would have been that way. It would have been after that one. That listen, before this goes any further, we need to like if there's a possibility going somewhere, tell you how this and that and the third. But you knew when I met you that I had kids from the get-go.
Of course.
Yeah, because we had that conversation.
Of course.
So it was like,
but that's what I'm saying, like, because at that point, the trust is gone because you've taken that choice from me.
Yeah.
Taking that option.
Well, women do it all the time with the fake hair, the fake nails. They take that trust away from you, thinking that was all your real hair, thinking that was your real nail, thinking that was anything. Like, listen, oh, that's not your real ass. Oh, yeah, come on, like women hide it all the time.
Yeah.
And the fact that their baby daddies is crazy. They're locked up. They're not locked up. You still live with his ass. Oh, he lived down the street. Y'all live with your parents. Y'all live with his parents. Like, listen, it's not something that's not having been done all the time. It just happens. But the rules of engagement I'm talking about is how addressing someone, because there's because when you're truly genuine and you approach someone, it comes off as, oh, he's thirsty, or he's cornball, because you can't be real anymore. You gotta come up with something in between a line and the truth. I don't worry about that anyway, because I'm just me. But most people have trouble meeting people because they don't know how to approach. Right, and so what do you recommend? Like, what is the rules of engagement to most of your friends, basically?
I mean, for me, it's all about honesty. Again, it's being approachable. It's about having common interests. It's about like not approaching me on some, hey ma, like, oh, what you up to tonight shit. It's just like, I'm a grown woman. I don't want to be talked to like one of your little hoes. Like I'm 33.
Well, that doesn't work?
No. I'm 33 now. So like I want to be addressed like a woman. I want to be spoken to like a woman. I want to be wined and dined, I'm past that. Oh, like, let's go get fucked up. Like, no, I want to go have, I mean, I'm still doing it. Don't get me wrong. But I got a man now, so it's okay. But yeah, I mean, like I said, like me and my boyfriend met on some slowly but surely, like, as friends. And I think that everything you kind of have to start off as a friend. You have to slowly get to know each other. You have to build that relationship.
How you say that? And you was hold up in this relationship from like I usually got what you need, like 36 minutes to find out you was friends. Like,
right?
It make no sense. Like that. Listen.
No, we were friends for like a good month, like just hanging out, like seeing, just literally just seeing each other on some hi bye, like what's up. And it wasn't until, like I said, we just hung out by ourselves at one time, and then the following time we hung out again by ourselves, or like I think it was like with his group of friends. And so, and that's another thing too. You can't just see how that person engages with just you. You have to see how they are around their friends. People. Right, around their friends. You have to see how they are around strangers, around how they approach themselves. Do they respect themselves? Do they love themselves? Like it's things of that nature. Even like something as little as, I'm a waitress, so I'm very big on going out to eat. And if the person that I'm out to eat with, whether it's my friend, my boyfriend, my mom, whoever, if you're rude to our waitress, that speaks volumes on who you are. If you're not going to tip your waitress or your waiter or your whatever, to me, that speaks volumes, because that's my line of profession. You're disrespecting me and the people that I work with, even if it's not my job. Like, so it's all about seeing outside perspective, who they are outside of you and outside of them.
Spoken like a real stalker. Anyway, so
I did a background check on my man. I did a fucking background check on my man.
Did you really? You're still doing that?
I can't be dating no fucking sex offenders or fucking convicts.
You did a background check for real?
Fuck yes, I did. I told him, I was like, I Googled you and I paid for a background check.
Oh boy, listen. That's crazy. I thought that was a thing, a phase that passed, but y'all still doing that on these streets. So what happens if you would have found something? Like what if you was like B&E?
It would have been over.
You check his credit too?
No.
So the credit is good. It doesn't matter about the credit. You just let anybody get.
Well, I mean, credit to me is so. I mean, people fuck up their credit all the time. Like
people fuck up and get felonies all the time.
No.
They fuck up. Things happen. Peep game, because your boy here, Black, was looking at a felony not too long ago, and shit over some dumb shit, and I beat that shit. And it wasn't serious. It wasn't out there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, my boyfriend has a record. I know all about it. Yeah, okay. I know all about it. But
did you see the references? Did he get like 4 references before he dated you?
my boyfriend has a record, but he didn't get locked up because he's a pedophile, you know what I mean? He didn't get locked up because he's a sex offender. He didn't get locked up because he's an actual piece of shit or anything. Yeah. Like, he got locked up when he was 17 for being an idiot, you know, for like some bullshit.
You'll put stuff out there.
I know. But I mean, I've been arrested too. I look so cute and innocent, and I've been arrested a million times. Shit, underage drinking, fucking fake IDs, like.
Hey, allegedly.
That's right. That's right.
Let's put that up there. Don't be telling yourself too out here. Let's be.
No, but what I'm saying is, I'm not gonna judge you on your past over some bullshit. You know, everybody has a past. Everybody has a past. Even if it's a baby mama, that's your past. I could either embrace it and we can work through it, or I could be like, all right, this ain't the one for me. Have a nice life. Because at the end of the day, it's a choice. It's a choice to be in a relationship.
It definitely is. And I mean, I guess, if that's what you want, like relationships are things. I mean, hey. I mean, who does a relationship now? This is 2000. Huh?
They're not for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, they are for people. Everybody needs somebody, right? It's just that, this is a lot of bullshit. Like, if you find somebody you love, that body, just love that person and just be with them, whatever.
Right.
Like, worth through their bullshit if they're worth it for you. And if they're not, then keep it pushing, I guess. So now we get to the freestyle section here. So what is today's event that you would like to talk about? What's going on like in the world? Like you just feel so passionate about that you want to discuss?
I don't know. I mean,
what's in the news cycle? I mean, did I miss something today? It looked kind of dry day today.
Oh, so how we were talking about lockdown actually, and I meant to bring this up in our group chat, but apparently Cuomo said that despite the fact that COVID cases are up, he has no intention of adding any new rules to us. I read that today.
Yeah, because listen, he can't piss off the masses because he's still hanging with that sexual assault.
Well, isn't he up for re-election this year or something?
Yeah. No, I think this year, next year. Yeah, but nevertheless, his ass is still.
But what I was gonna say is, fuck Bill de Blasio for forcing you to get a COVID vaccine in order to work for the city. You are trumping on my fucking human rights. Fuck out of here. I mean, I don't work for the city, so I don't give a shit. But fuck that. It's a goddamn choice. You cannot force somebody to get something they don't want to get.
Well, that brings me to the next statement. The NFL is forcing the coaches and everyone to get the shot.
Yeah, so one of those NFL coaches, I can't remember who it was, he got kicked out. Yeah, because he was like, I'm not getting that shit. It's a fucking choice.
Right, but it's also a private company. So what do you vote? I mean, do you go to the side of the private company? Is it a privilege to work for the NFL?
Can you sue for that shit? Like, how can you force somebody? It doesn't that I feel like that's just like, I don't know, freedom of speech at that point, or it's trumping on your fucking human rights. I feel like
I believe that it is too, because you're forcing somebody to put a chemical that's not been FDA approved into your body, and then in order for employment. So I think the case is going to go to the Supreme Court because he is going to sue them.
Right. To me, no fucking judgment. And I've said this a million times. Listen, if you want to get the COVID vaccine, if that's what makes you feel safe, if that's what makes your family feel safe, I'm all for it. I respect it. You have to do what's best for you and your family only. At the end of the day, nobody loves you like you love you. You know what I mean? But in that same token of respect, the fact that I respect you making the decision to get it, everybody should respect the fact that I don't want to get it. But because I don't want to get it, people feel the need to tell me, you're a piece of shit. You're the reason why COVID cases are up. You're harming our country. I'm not harming shit. I say to myself, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not coughing on you. I'm not breathing on you. I go food shopping. You still have to wear a mask if you're not vaccinated anyway. So I don't know. I just think it's bullshit. Like, I feel like people are just super hypocritical because if you're like, oh yeah, I got the vaccine, everybody's so fucking happy for you. Like, yeah, you did your part. Go New York strong. Fuck you. But then if I'm like, I don't want to, and it's my right not to, they're like, you're an evil piece of shit, and you're the reason why we're all dying.
That's a powerful word. So the coach was the Minnesota Vikings. His name was Rick Denson.
Right. That's it.
So now they're kind of like Minnesota Vikings is retracting that, saying that he's not been fired and he's not been let go yet. The discussion is ongoing because they knew what the legal ramifications were. I guess they confirmed with a lawyer.
Listen,
that
at
for
the end of the
finding
day, if
somebody,
he's wearing his fucking mask, what do you care?
yeah, for not wanting to get the COVID. Well, here's the thing: the NFL does have a loophole for it, and it's told that if you have a religious reason or a valid reason for why not going to get it, that they will listen to that. He decided to have his reason as being he doesn't have a reason. He just doesn't want to get the shot.
So I had read something during the peak of COVID, because obviously this vaccine talk was going on since the beginning of COVID, before we even had the vaccine. But I had read, because I used to work for the legal system. I was a legal assistant for 4 years. And so I was reading a legal article. I wouldn't be able to cite it because it was so long ago, but they were basically saying that in New York, we cannot say it's religious exemption. I cannot say, oh, it's against my religion, because they're going to force you to get it anyway. And that's when it becomes unethical.
Yeah.
If I'm telling you that based off my religion, I don't like, so what are you going to do? You're going to tell a Jehovah's Witness who does not believe in shots, who does not believe in blood transfusions, who does not believe in resuscitation. Like, Jehovah's Witnesses are pretty big on that. So you're going to tell a Jehovah's Witness that you're forcing them to take a shot. Like, that is so illegal. You know what I mean? Like, so for you to tell me that I can't uphold my religious exemption is crazy to me. I mean, I don't know if that's changed since then, but I know because I know that at the peak of it, New York was completely on board with barring that.
Yes, they are, and it still is that way. For my knowledge as well, because they will not. Because there's some shots that you cannot get illegal, well, not legal, can't get religion exemptions for, and that was a big thing. That was a thing in New York. At least I know that. I don't know other places in New York.
Especially because we were COVID central at one point too, you know. But like, my thing is, and I'm not anti-vaccine by any means. My kids are up to date with all of their necessary shots, all of the shots that require them to be safe and school and properly taken care of. So they've got like their tetanus and their measles and their mumps and their, and their chicken pox and all that other stuff. They've definitely been vaccinated. But anything that is a choice, an option, hell no. My kids do not get flu vaccinated. My kids are not going to get COVID vaccinated. I don't care, they're just not. They're not. If I'm not going to put it in my child, or if I'm not going to put it in me, I'm definitely not going to put it in my kid. I got to give my kids a fighting chance, because they're saying for women, and obviously they don't know because there hasn't been enough study. They're saying that for women, it could cause a fertility issue. Now, as a woman who's in her 30s, I've had children. I've given myself the experience already. But who the hell am I to rob my children of potentially having kids one day? I'm going to be able to live with the fact that I robbed you of that? No.
You're 100% correct. Now, what I do not like is that they are forcing this among parents.
Right.
Like, I went to the pediatrician the other day with two of my daughters, and then they got the physicals like yearly, stuff like that. Our visits, the checkups, to talk to the doctor, and she was insisting.
Oh yeah.
On going to get this shot, but two of my children can't because they're under 12.
Right.
So,
my children are also under 12, so it's not even up for debate right now. But they're saying that by the time the fall hits, they're going to have one for smaller children. I don't give a fuck. I don't care if you have 15 different shots for children under 12. My kids are not getting it. Period. Even if they have to be homeschooled, then that's what we'll have to do.
I agree. I am not with putting this. I don't get flu shots. I do give them flu shots because it is like they have the option to. I give them flu shot.
Right.
But nah, I'm not with this whole COVID thing. I mean, not that I'm not with the COVID thing. I'm not with the vaccine for my children. I don't want to risk anything.
Right.
It's not because people. Here's the thing.
There's too many X factors. There's too many. Not only that, but they were saying like, I'm in a relationship. I've had children. I take birth control. They're saying a couple months ago that all these women were dying from blood clots because they take birth control. So I could have potentially put myself at risk. Whether or not that would have happened to me, who knows? But how am I going to live with the fact that, I'm just not going to be here to watch my children grow up? Like, that's dumb. I don't know.
Now, here's my caveat to that. If the shot was to eradicate the virus, then I would consider it. But when you're talking about a shot that eliminates the going to the hospital, whatever case may be, that's not enough for me. I'm pretty much as big as I am. I'm a pretty much healthy guy. I don't really get sick. Immune system is pretty good. My kids are pretty good as well. I really, if it's not going to eradicate it or get rid of it completely, what am I really doing? Because all you're doing is setting yourself up for taking another shot down the road.
Yeah, they're saying you're going to need 3 or 4 more boosters, like shot 3, shot 4. Fuck out of here.
When it immunes and when it forms into something, mutates into another disease, a virus, and turns into something stronger, and then the shot doesn't work against it, then
and
what
not
do
only that, look at this. Everybody was so prepared for this COVID, blah, 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 blah. And now there's this Delta variant, and there's no vaccine for that one. Which is why now they're going to need boosters. Like, so what you're telling me is that you have not found a solution.
Mm-hmm. Well, clearly they haven't, because it still has not been approved by FDA. It's been released because it was emergency because of what was going on, and they figured that it give people peace of mind knowing that there's something rather than nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It usually takes X amount of years before an actual vaccine that works. That will
out in less than 6 months. How many fucking clinical trials could you have done in less than 6 months when we're all locked up in our houses? Nobody was going to work.
Those are small towns that you haven't heard that have been banished, that nobody lives in anymore.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
Somewhere in the Midwest, has somebody been testing this for a small town that people don't live there anymore.
Surprised, because that's what I'm saying. Like, weren't we literally all locked up in our houses from March to like June? So who the fuck was at work working on this shit?
Those little countries, if you go to Google now and see that they're for sale, you know that it was those those are little towns and shit that had a full people and that was just gone. And that is a major concern for myself as well, because listen, there is like I worked for Moffitt in Tampa, Florida, for when I got my degree in for when I got my I can't speak. My associates in science was in science or something like that, applied science. I used to work as a medical assistant in Moffitt Cancer Center. So the department I worked in, we did it was like research and development. So it was experimental drugs for people that had stage 4 cancer that have no other option.
Right.
So, and then at that point, we had 3 or 4 different drugs that we would give that were administered to certain people, and like 10 people will get this one, to another 10 will get this one, and then 10 will get that one. And one of these drugs was not approved by the FDA. And because there was no real record of showing what this drug will actually do, does it help? Does it slow down cancer? Will it go into remission? And I've watched and helped inject people with this stuff. But the people knew what it was because they signed up, because they were at the last. Yeah, leave it down. We know what's about to go down a little later. Anyway.
I shower. I'm still in that salt water.
Man, some people like that salt. Somebody like that salt in it. And then these people signed up for these things because they had no other option. It was either this or face death. So they took the option, and we did have people that actually miraculously, well, they didn't get rid of cancer, but it just, it slowed it down, and it actually shouldn't be remission.
I think that also in a position like that, where you're literally looking at death in the face, you're going to do whatever you can to stay alive. This was very different, like I'm 33 years old. For the most part, I'd say I'm healthy. I got COVID twice and I'm still here. And I know that that's not the same for everybody. Some people obviously were in the hospital. Some people were on ventilators and whatnot. So for some people it was very severe. And I won't lie, the first time I got it, I thought I was dying. But I pushed through. Why? Because I'm 33 years old and I've got a healthy immune system, because I don't have any pre-existing conditions. I'm good, you know what I mean? Like, and then the second time that I got COVID, which is when I was holed up with my boyfriend, I didn't even know I had COVID. I just realized that I couldn't smell or taste anything. It wasn't anywhere near as bad as the first time. So for someone who's had it, who's experienced it, who's beat it twice, fuck no, I don't want a vaccine. And I think that if I were to get it again, I'd still be fine, I
think we just need your blood so we can give it to other people, because you've now create the you're immune to it now, or you create the vaccine.
I'm a fucking zombie.
Yeah. So I mean, but also the worst part of that job that I was telling you about was dealing with people that were younger than I was, and we got to think I was like maybe like in my early 30s then, and watching 23-year-olds die from stage 4 cancers that never got a chance to live their life, and watching people like deteriorate and losing people. I met a guy that was a great guy, but he couldn't stop. He had the hiccups constantly.
Oh my God.
It was one of the I guess side effects or something like that. Yeah, and he just couldn't stop. And like
I've heard.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I've met all type of people, and had to deal with crash carts and saving people's lives, and then like, it was the first hand.
Yeah.
It gave me some real life experience, and I realized that job comes home with you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All the time, no matter how much you want to, it actually like it comes home because you're dealing with these people. And Moffitt is well known because people are flying from all over the southeast, southwest to come to Tampa to come to this amazing center that just deals with cancer and every level of it. Yeah, she wants some too. Well, give me some too.
I'm telling my kids to go shower.
Yeah, so it was just an amazing experience as far as actually working through it, but dealing with it and emotionally, like it was kind of like, damn, I come home because my kids every night that it was we made it through
and
it.
you're lucky and you're fortunate. And I think that and I haven't had a job like that, but I think that a job like that where you see that people don't necessarily get to live out their lives to their full potential makes you want to live your life out to its full potential. You know, it makes you want to live on behalf of these people. Like for me, there's nothing sadder. Speaking of, like I was on TikTok last night, just for like an hour, just watching these reels of this little girl who's going through pediatric cancer, and I'm bawling my eyes out, seeing this little 16-month-old having to deal with these tubes and getting blood drawn and having to go through surgeries and the chemo, and it's just like she's 16 months old. She hasn't even lived life yet, and you know, you got to pray that she's going to make it and that she's going to survive through it. But then it also kind of makes you self-reflect, and I say this all the time, and obviously as a parent this is all that you ever hope for, is that I am so blessed that I have 2 beautiful, healthy children. And that they're still healthy and that they continue to be healthy and that they're thriving, more importantly. And that's what makes me continue to like want to live to my full potential. That's what motivates me to get up in the morning. That's what pushes me to work harder, you know, and to see that not everybody gets that same opportunity to watch their babies grow up, to watch their babies get married, to watch their babies cross that graduation stage. Like that is so sad. And it's true. Like, you're not supposed to bury your children. Your children are supposed to bury you.
Yeah. I told my kids already to just burn me.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we don't have to do all that.
I fucking had this conversation with I can't remember who I was having this conversation with the other day, but I was like, fuck no, you better bury me, because when you get cremated, you're putting a big responsibility on somebody to carry you around with them. So, and realistically, well, most people, you put them in an urn, you put them on your mantle or wherever you feel is best to put them. Okay, great. That I feel is a reassurance for the person or persons that have lost that person. You know, like let's say it's I don't know, God forbid, my baby daddy. But what's it called? But yeah, so like, okay, I'll put him on my mantle. But now I'm going to keep him around. And then when I die, my kids are going to keep him around. But when they die, my grandkids are not going to want to keep him around. You know what I mean? Then what do you do with him? You flush him down?
Smoke him. Roll that.
Dylan's laughing. Dylan's laughing.
I do. Smoke him.
He said he's swallowing.
And that good in the Bible paper, big.
In the Bible paper.
But yeah, so I mean,
I agree with that.
So here's the thing, because when I buried my mother on Thanksgiving, the pricing of like burying and stuff like that, it's like 10 G's. Like,
well, that's how the conversation started. I just remember who I was having this conversation with. Actually, it was me and Marquise, because like I said, I was a legal assistant for 4 years, and the type of law that I did was surrogates court. So we did a lot of deaths, and and of course people want to be paid back. So I've seen the receipts, you know, I've seen what people are charging. Caskets alone are $10,000, and then you don't want to give them a little shitty memorial. You want to give them the best memorial they could have. You want prayer cards. You want a 2-day memorial. Yeah. You want to be able to mourn them. And then on top of that, then you want to have a repast. And now you're paying for 25 people to come eat and just talk about whoever passed away. I mean, we're talking about almost $15,000-$20,000.
Yeah. So this label on this side, my mother had she already had her mausoleum in in another state. So she had to be flown to that other state, prepared by another funeral home, and then have services down there and put inside her mausoleum. So then that was like the thing there, because it was prepared here. Then you got to pay an airplane ticket to fly a body to another state. Then another funeral home has to get involved, and then you got to pay for all their services and preparations in order to get there, and then travel to the site and hold it there, plus have the repast at the place there. So it was pretty fucking pricey.
Yeah.
And it's been a long year. So I mean, there and looking to move and everything's just
even death certificates cost money.
Yeah, I paid over $100 for like 10 of them.
Right, yeah, because you've got to give them to insurance. You got to give one to insurance if they have life insurance. You got to give one to the funeral home. You have to keep one for yourself for your records. You have to keep one for your tax preparer. You have to. I mean, like I said, I've seen it. I've seen it myself. You know, this is the problem with this. I wrote wills. I wrote wills for a living for 4 years. So,
well, things you should have mentioned a lot earlier, because I could have used some assistance there. Because my mother, what she did was. Not what she did was, when she passed, the death certificate was incorrect. So I had to go file for a new death certificate, and then they sent me the wrong one again. Plus, right now through COVID, it's a 85-day waiting period to get a.
Oh my God!
Yeah, and I've waited. I think I filed. I remember I filed like on April. Like
usually it's like a week.
I know, but because of COVID and all the deaths.
Right.
They told me 24 days, and I waited 57 days after that, and still got the wrong shit. So I mean, it's been a mess, man. Like,
yeah.
And then the funeral, then nobody in the family couldn't come to all the thing. You know, so it's like my mom passed, and not everybody was able to make it to this. So you know, it was a fucked up situation. You know what I mean? So not everybody gave her the respect that that you know she deserved, and for all the shit that she's done in her lifetime for people. You know what I mean? But I mean, it's life, man. We got to deal with it. But like I said, after she passed, her body's already gone. So, you know, at that point, I didn't care about the body. But like, just like mine, as I don't care after I'm going out of it. You know, I should be in your memory. Don't worry about it. But we're gonna leave it there, because unless you have something else you want to add to it.
Well, I just want to leave it with, I'd heard this song lyric once that say that you die twice. So once when you actually die, and the second time that you die is when people stop saying your name. Like when people stop mentioning who you are. That's like the second time that you die. And that's kind of always stuck with me. Because I think that is very true.
That is dope. And I didn't I've never heard that before. I remember saying, so you have to let me know what song that is. And we'll talk about it again. But I want to say my goodbyes. I appreciate everybody joining us tonight. Not much comments tonight because it's Monday. And people probably out doing this shit. We'll be back again either Thursday or Sunday. You'll see one of us then. Hopefully we'll see him. Well, it's on Sunday again.
Well, I'm off on Thursday, so I could do Thursday this week too.
Well, then that sounds good. You hear that, guys? She's gonna be back on Thursday. So
but I'm probably gonna be really drunk, so
even more fun. And hopefully, well, like I said, Clips is not with us tonight. You need to big up the Clips doing family things right now. Shout out to Big Kev. Hopefully, we'll see you soon. Maybe you'll be on Thursday. Tweet. Hope to see you real soon too. Shout out to Montana. I know she's resting. She just came home from the hospital. Shout out to you if you're watching. See no comments on there. Maybe next time. Maybe you'll be on the show soon. Shout out to anybody else I didn't mention. All the people that've been there. anyone that comes on to us, Ready Res, appreciate it. And we have some special guests that we're going to probably have coming on soon. My voice is getting better now, so hopefully I'll be able to talk and I can drop that Barry White on them. Oh, hold on.
But hopefully, too, you'll start seeing more of me, Montana, and Sweet, because we have our own podcast that we are working on and that we're going to bring to the forefront very soon for you guys. There you go.
Yeah. Glam girls.
Even if it's just me, because right now Montana's going through her stuff. I mean, we don't want to pressure her. We don't want to put too much on her plate. So even if I just have to come on there by myself and talk to myself for a little bit, you guys are gonna get so sick of me because you're gonna see so much of me.
I'm looking forward to that because I want to see you guys succeed and do well because I think you guys are brilliant and very very. I don't want to call you role models because people don't want to be that pressure, but you guys are very successful in life. You're very intelligent women. You guys coming together really have a lot to talk about, and it's every day. It's not just bullshit and propaganda. You guys are actually, like you talked about, you're working in legal office. You're very well spoken, and you're a very intelligent woman. So is Tweet that brought her house and did everything on her own. She's a very strong woman within herself, and she does a lot of things. She knows a lot of stuff as well too. She gets $9 from her, and then Montana herself is a very strong woman, and she's been through a lot.
In her own right, she's a very strong woman.
Very intelligent. Like talking to Montana and knowing her for over a year.
Right.
Our conversations are like
and all
very.
The things she's been through, and her and I have a lot in common because she has a child on the spectrum. I have a sibling on the spectrum, so her and I definitely have so much in common as well. We have daughters.
Her knowledge among that and her way of and her thought process is not just like it's not like a run of the mill. I think she's a deep thinker, and that's why I think that the three of you guys have a wonderful show when it comes out. And you guys are just the way you guys mesh together is a wonderful thing. I like the way you guys talk, and I think that everybody, it was something to really watch. It's not garbage. It's not like, I'm not gonna say it's not garbage. It's not like anything else. It's just that it's women that are about shit. Not to say there's women that not out there that are not about shit. I don't want to take this shit the wrong way. I'm saying that you girls and you women coming together have a lot to offer, and a lot of things that women that in the same standard, the same spectrum of you guys would really appreciate, and the knowledge.
And between the three of us, there's just a lot of diversity too. Like we don't all have the exact same thought process, so it's not a lot of redundant thought. It's a lot of very intelligent and unbiased back and forth, kind of like what we do right now. So
yeah, you guys actually can talk and disagree without
arguing and fighting,
exactly,
bickering. Yeah. I mean, so sometimes it's gonna, all right, we'll have to agree to disagree,
Yeah. We're respectful, and as ladies should.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I look forward to seeing that because I think that empowerment is needed, especially in these times now. Because there are a lot of women out there that are lost their way and need other women to not just look up to, but to be able to communicate and to see that what they're going through is not just what they're going through.
Right. You're not alone in your battles in life.
Exactly.
Yeah. Whether you're depressed, whether you're lonely, whether you've been crying, whether you're a single mom, like there's plenty of us out there. There's so much that I think that as the three of us as a whole, we all have to offer individually and then collectively.
Definitely. Mm-hmm. So on that note, we'll be seeing the Triple G soon, hopefully, but if not, but you will be seeing them. I think, I guess they'll put something together. Well, I'll start putting promotions out there. You'll see it. But we're going to get back on our Grizzy. We're going to get back here and build this group higher than it was before. We're at 3,000 people, 3,000 members. Actually, we're at 3,100 people right now, and we're still growing. I've been slacking. I'm back on my hunger. I'm doing this, and all my people in White Plains, I'm still 211.7. We still doing my DJing Tuesday, Wednesdays, Friday, and Saturday night.
And I'm right there next to him.
I know. People get support as well too. But we out of here. Y'all have a good night. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Bye, guys.